As a younger student, I wasn't the greatest at school. I never liked waking up and never wanted to do anything with it. It didn't help either that I moved schools multiple times in my early childhood, so with losing and having to make new friends and acclimate to new schools and environments, as well as already not liking the work I had to do in school, it made for a very unpleasant experience. In middle school is where it all started. I got an Xbox on my 10th birthday. Before this, I never had played video games or watched TV much because my dad wouldn't let me. So now having my own system in my room where I could do anything I wanted, I began to get really lazy and not want to do anything else. At first, I was just a kid playing games and it was new to me, so no one really thought it was a problem. Then a year later, my dad got me a phone. More specifically, he got an iPhone. He said it was just to stay in contact with him and he wanted me to get something reliable. I was one of the only kids in my entire grade, let alone school, who really had a phone. And it was an iPhone. This didn't help either because now I could play games and mess around on it all day. So while being in class, all I thought about was playing video games or doing anything else other than school now. This is where my decline started to happen. I was never motivated to do anything else now. So school started to show it. I'd come home and play video games, and my grades would come back, they wouldn't be great. So my dad would take away my Xbox, and I was now even more or less motivated because I was so upset with him I didn't want to do anything. But he still left me with my phone. So while he thought I was studying and doing my work, I wasn't. I was messing around on my phone. My grades began to fall, and I ended up really behind all my friends and peers. After middle school, my dad decided to put me in his alma mater for high school, De La Salle Collegiate. This high school was a really respected school for academics, and he wanted me to go there. Somehow, I stepped up and passed the entry exam to be accepted to go there, and it was the first time I ever really did get on anything and felt good about myself. I was proud and determined to do well in high school, but that's not how it went. With new opportunities and friends and a whole new lifestyle because I was in high school, I fell behind again. I had new friends, new things to do, and I was too cool to do homework now. So every day again, I'd have my dad on my back about doing my work and getting good grades. Again, I didn't listen and continued to fall off and joke around in class. I'd still play video games and would find ways to avoid homework or tests. Around the end of my junior year, I had horrible grades and was very behind my other classmates. My dad kept reminding me about college coming up and that it'd be here soon. At the time, I still saw college far enough away from me to at least continue to slack off a little bit. I thought I'd be able to just weasel my way into college the same way I did at De La Salle. Sadly, I did not. I did very poorly on my standardized tests, and my grades weren't good enough to make up for how poorly I did. I didn't think any school was really going to accept me with grades like these. So, near the end of my junior year, I was put into Mr. Mukhtar's history class. Mr. Mukhtar was already my soccer coach, so I knew him really well, and I had known him for a while before. We all knew Mr. Mukhtar was pretty hard in the field, but none of us really knew how hard he was in class. So getting into his class and trying to pull off the same antics didn't work. If I did bad on a quiz or a test, or forgot to do homework, he'd make sure you knew. He'd make it aware that you were performing poorly and would hold you to it. This was good because accountability made you responsible. But he would help you learn what to do and how to do it better for next time. So, I couldn't slack off in his class and do bad. He was my coach and my teacher, so I had to do good. Eventually, it got to my head that I needed to step up and my grades began to pick up in his class, and it started to feel good. I felt like I was accomplishing something. In my other classes, my grades went up as well. Senior year came and I applied to CMU and got accepted. I told Mr. Mukhtar about it and he was extremely proud of me for pulling my head out the gutter and actually making it into college. He asked what I was going to study, and at first I didn't really know. I never really put much thought into it and didn't really have a plan for anything. Mr. Mukhtar told me about CMU and that it has a good education program and to maybe think about that. I never really thought that I could possibly be a teacher. I never really enjoyed school, but now something was different about school. It was kind of fun and I enjoyed learning. So after some thinking, I came back to him and I told him I was going to go into teaching. He always told us the reason he became a teacher was because he didn't want students to mess up like him. He had a rough coming up. His high school experience wasn't that great and he barely made it into Grand Valley. He was like me and did really bad in his early years of school and got his stuff together because one of his teachers helped him. So he's passing on his helpfulness onto his students. So I wanted to do the same. I wanted to be the help for the kids like me to get their heads back on track and to do good in school so they can be something. I wanted to be the one that my students can rely on to help and be there for them and lead them in the right direction. Mr. Mukhtar was the one who really put this in perspective for me. He was a great teacher, and I began to enjoy school because of him. I wanted to do this for other kids. His job looked fun, and all the students loved him, and we looked up to him. However, he looked up to us. He wanted to see us do good. He was proud of the accomplishments that we all made. This is what made me want to become a teacher. Seeing him interact with the students and having fun in his job really seemed like something I could actually do. And I wanted to be like him. This is why I chose teaching. He's the reason why I'm here. I want to be like him and help kids do great things in their lives.